everybody, Backyard Bullion here. Now today's video is going to be a moan, it's going to be a rant, a ramble, a complaint. In fact, I want to call it an open letter to the Royal Mail. For those of you who are not in the UK, the Royal Mail is our national postal service, and they have dropped the ball quite significantly, twice, on a very valuable parcel of mine that was going to and from the Edinburgh Assay office with a very large amount of silver in it, which could have potentially had some very far-reaching financial implications, not to mention the stress, anxiety and worry that was caused going through this situation. So this open letter here today, I genuinely hope reaches far and wide here on YouTube, and I hope that somebody from the Royal Mail executive team or customer services team sees this video and sees the impact that it has on individuals and people and businesses. It's just not acceptable in this world. And these situations, by the way, completely avoidable, completely wrong to have happened at all. Not to mention the fact that they happened at all, the follow-up and all the customer service issues of getting in touch with the Royal Mail, sorting through these issues, just completely beggars belief that this organisation is what we all rely on to send precious metals and just everything else through the mail. Businesses, small and large, it's just not acceptable at all. So I genuinely hope this video reaches far and wide. I do want to make it clear though, I'm going to say some disparaging things about Royal Mail, let me tell you, in this video. There are a lot of good people, a lot of good staff that work in the Royal Mail, but there are also quite a lot of people, in my opinion, that are not very good at their jobs, and that I think is one of the systemic failures of the Royal Mail. It seems very bureaucratic, a very stale organisation that doesn't seem to want to change and learn. And I do hope that this video is not meant to attack anybody in particular. It's not meant to attack an individual. It is meant to provide constructive criticism and feedback on a service which is supposed to be a guaranteed service, special delivery. It's meant to be special, it's meant to be set apart. But let me tell you, there was nothing special about this parcel and how it was handled. Well, it was definitely special, but not in the way that you think. So I'm going to go through the story of what happened and share how we handled the situation, what we've done and are doing and pursuing with the Royal Mail. It's just not acceptable. So, for those who don't know, we have a service here in the United Kingdom from Royal Mail called Special Delivery, and it is the only service via Royal Mail that can be used to cover precious metals. Anything else that is sent not Special Delivery, it's not going to be covered. So I've been using Special Delivery a lot to send parcels up to the Edinburgh Assay office. Now we had a whole big pile of silver that we sent up. It was about something like 8.5 kilos, 9 kilos worth of silver. So a very valuable parcel. You're talking £5,000 worth of silver. You know, really high value stuff. We sent it up and you got this message on the tracking. And this is what really kicked off. This is the brown stuff that hit the fan moment for me. So I noticed that the parcel had not arrived. Check my tracking. And I saw this. I'll read it out to you. This parcel was recently identified as containing items suspected of being prohibited or dangerous. Having examined the parcel more closely, we have determined that the items contained within it do breach transport regulations and/or Royal Mail terms and conditions. We have therefore disposed of these items accordingly. Now I'll reiterate, there was about 9 kilos worth of silver in that parcel, so you're looking at close to £5,000 worth of metal in there. Now the Royal Mail only guarantees up to £2,500. That's a personal choice for me to send things above that insurance value. £5,000 worth of metal potentially gone, disposed of. Disposed of accordingly. What does that mean? Do they put it in a bin? Do they incinerate it? Do they think it was a bomb? I don't know. Anyway, so what happened? I saw this tracking. Not good. Not good at all. So what do you want to do? You want to speak to somebody, don't you? Of course. So you get on the phone to Royal Mail customer services. I rang them up and you get automated call handling, whatever it is. And when I got through to the final bit, it says, our wait times are currently 90 minutes to 2 hours long. 90 minutes to 2 hours long? That's just, I nearly swore there. That is absolutely unacceptable. Unacceptable. So what I did was, fortunately, I live not very far away from a mail centre where they actually processed that parcel. And when you looked at the tracking, that was the last destination it was. So I thought, maybe it's still there. I'm going to go up there and have a look. So I went up in person to the mail centre and I spoke with some people there. And let me tell you, the duty manager was one of these people that I'm going to say was not very good at his job. However, there were some absolutely cracking people at the desk at this mail centre. And bear in mind, this is not normally a place where a member of the public could just come in and inquire. They were very accommodating. They could obviously see that I was upset, worried, anxious about where this was. The duty manager went away to do God knows what and find out what was happening. He was completely next to useless. But the guy who was behind the desk started to try and track down the parcel. But more importantly, what he did for me, and this was priceless, what he did for me is he got the escalations team from Royal Mail on the phone immediately. Now, for those who don't know, the only way that you can get hold of the escalations team on Royal Mail Customer Services is to wait in that queue for an hour and a half to 2 hours. And I just, when you're in that situation, when the brown stuff hits the fan, you want answers. You want answers as soon as possible. So big thank yous and kudos go to that chap who got the customer services escalation team right on the phone. They spoke to me right there. They gave me a case reference number. They went away and they tried to investigate it. They couldn't locate the parcel. They couldn't tell me what had happened. They couldn't tell me where it was. They couldn't tell me if it had been disposed of. They said it was very unlikely that it had been destroyed or disposed of, but that really didn't instill me with any sense of confidence. So after having been up at the mail centre for a good couple of hours and trying to get answers and sort it out, the guys there were fantastic. The duty manager, next to useless, but the guys on the desk, fantastic. Eventually the customer escalation team got back in touch with me and said that they would have to do further investigation and they'd get back in touch with me later on in the day. So I went home and let me tell you, it's one of those things where it's not the end of the world. Like, I wasn't going to go destitute, wasn't going to lose the house, wasn't going to stop trading or doing anything like this. But at the same time, it's really worrying. I have customers whose pieces were in those parcels and, they're relying on me. They've got orders with me. I've got their money already, and I was going through my head, what do I do? Do I need to tell my customers now there's potentially a problem? I don't know how long this is going to take to sort out. What if it's been destroyed? It's all very, very annoying. So I lost pretty much the rest of the day in terms of productivity, just trying to think about what to do. And I'm not the kind of person that wants to sit bone idle and try and work out what things are happening. So, I was trying to research what to do, whether it was airport security, was it Royal Mail, was it, I don't know. Eventually we got a voicemail from the Royal Mail customer service escalation team. Don't quite know why my phone didn't go through. It's probably not Royal Mail's fault. The only thing that isn't in this video, I suppose. But anyway, I got a voicemail from them, which is slightly frustrating because, as I said, the only way you can get hold of them is to go through the hour and a half to 2 hour long queue. But anyway, they said that they think that the parcel is progressing through the network and should be delivered next week. It was subsequently delivered, so that's the good news, I suppose. But what I don't know, and what I really want to find out, and what I'm still struggling to find out because I can't get an answer left or right from the Royal Mail, is whether or not my intervention, whether the actions which I made on that day actually stopped something terrible from happening, because it had this designation on it. This was the last thing on the tracking, and it was good 14 hours, 15 hours after I had done everything and raised this escalation that it was then progressed through the network. And I don't know whether that means that somebody has looked at it and thought, okay, yeah, we did make a mistake, let's go and quickly correct that. Because this last sentence is just, we have disposed of your items accordingly. That's not, we might dispose of it, or we're going to investigate further and then make a decision. That says, we have therefore disposed of these items accordingly. So, I don't know. I just don't know. And I still to this day don't know either, which is really, really frustrating. So that's the first leg of it. Now, there were two mistakes for this parcel. So it got to Edinburgh, and when it in fact got to Edinburgh, there was evidence that it had been opened, the parcel had been opened and rifled through. And what really, really annoys me, even in fact more, and this is going to be a long video, by the way, guys. This is going to be a ranty long video. But what really annoys me is it says that having examined the parcel more closely, we have determined that the items contained within do breach transport regulations and Royal Mail terms and conditions. But they don't, because it was just silver stuff, which is completely fine to send. It's not a dangerous item. It's not a prohibited item. It was a colossal mistake from whoever opened it, examined it. They clearly are not good at their job, whoever it was. And this person, this person needs training. Needs training, Royal Mail. Train them better, because it's just wrong. And as I said, it does have financial implications, potentially. Not good. And fortunately, everything was in the parcel, but again, things were going through my mind as somebody pilfered some things out of the parcel, if they opened it, if they'd taken it out. No idea. Now, we have no idea as well as to why it was potentially identified as being containing suspected dangerous items or prohibited items. I don't know, I can only imagine that it was going through airport security, they x-rayed it, somebody was having a really bad day, saw it was opaque, and just went full gonzo on it, and I just don't know. Anyway. So that's the first part of the colossal mistakes from Royal Mail, on that side of things. And that's a really bad one. That's probably... In fact, they're both quite bad, because the second part of this is on the return leg. So the pieces were assayed. They were sent back to me via Royal Mail Special Delivery once again. And I was very hot on the tracking this time to follow it to see if there was going to be another situation. Fortunately, we didn't get this notification again. But it arrived, the parcel arrived. I wasn't in. And what did the postie do? Left it on the doorstep. It's special delivery. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. Not only did he leave it on the doorstep, somebody took it. Somebody took it off our doorstep. So I had no clue that this parcel had been delivered. No clue that it was there. Now we were in, and our neighbours popped round, put a little note through our letterbox saying, we picked up one of the parcels on your doorstep. We thought it best not to have it lying on the ground. And I was like, what parcel are you expecting? I asked Mrs. Backyard Bullion, are you expecting something? And then it dawned on me, God, that special delivery hasn't arrived today. And I went round, picked it up, and lo and behold, it was. And, the most worrying thing about that situation is, of course, that the tracking says delivered. And the signature that you put, the postie puts on it, just puts COV19. Left it on the doorstep. Maybe he rang the doorbell. We weren't in. The postie is meant to make sure somebody's in to take delivery of a special delivery item. It's not acceptable. It just is not acceptable at all. So I've raised a complaint with Royal Mail, 2 complaints actually, 2 separate complaints. And I will be on the case with them to get resolutions to these. I am very hot on the case. I do genuinely think it's important that people understand that these situations have potentially far-ranging consequences above and beyond financial losses. I struggle with worry and anxiety. I try my best in life to not worry and be anxious as best as possible, and I do try and have some perspective on it. As I said, the world wasn't going to end. I wasn't going to be destitute, but it's a lot of money, a lot of time and energy that goes into this. Not just making the items. We're talking about time making the items. There was about 3 weeks worth of work, more even, put into that parcel. Literally blood, sweat and tears go into the stuff that I make, and that's time that you can't get back, and if it had gone missing, that's just not good. And then time trying to sort out these problems, and it is just not acceptable in this day and age to have such a poor customer service standard from the Royal Mail. So this is kind of form the sort of second part of the video. So all of those situations were avoidable. This designation shouldn't have happened. It hasn't happened in any times that I've been sending silver and gold. In fact, I talked with the Edinburgh Assay office. They've never heard of this before. They've never seen this before in any of their parcels. In fact, I was talking with a few other people that I know in precious metal sectors, and they've never heard of it or seen it before. So it shouldn't have happened. The postie shouldn't have left the parcel on the doorstep. Those are all avoidable. The next thing I want to talk about, though, is the absolute colossal poo storm that is Royal Mail customer services. So the one thing that I really hate, and it really gripes me, is that in this coronavirus world that we live in, the Royal Mail is just even worse than it was before. So the Royal Mail has always been notorious for their poor customer services, long wait times on the phones, but they've made absolutely no effort whatsoever to address that and to remedy it at all. Of course, I understand that there are coronavirus socially distanced regulations that need to be put in place for call centres and things like that. So I understand that there will be a reduction in staff. But the Royal Mail have not at all changed their opening hours or their times that you can call. It's still 8 till 6, I believe. There are lots of other big organisations out there in this world that have implemented additional hours that you can get in touch. They've opened earlier, they stay later, they have their staff working on shifts. The Royal Mail has the infrastructure there, they have the call centres, they have the staff. They probably have a significant number of staff on furlough at the moment, which is costing the economy and the government money. If the Royal Mail had any sense, they would bring back staff on a shift pattern, work them from 6 till 11 or 6 till midnight, or whatever time that they feel is appropriate, 10 p.m, I don't know, but increase those hours, because I'm going to be completely honest, your hours are not 8 till 6, your hours are 8 till about 4 o'clock, because there was one attempt that I made to phone you guys, the Royal Mail. I called at like I think it was like 4:15 I started my phone call. It was not answered by 6 o'clock. And what happens at 6 o'clock? Down tools. Let's go home, boys and girls. It just clocked the phone and hung up. Talking about clocking the phone and hanging up, this doesn't, I mean, it just pales into insignificance how abysmal the customer services are. So I was trying to sort out this situation. I phoned first thing in the morning, and this is telling of how many things are going wrong with the Royal Mail. I phoned exactly when the phone lines open at 8 o'clock, and already at 8 o'clock there was a 20-minute queue on the phones to get through. So I waited about 22 minutes, I think, in total. Got through to somebody, gave them my escalation reference number, and they said, okay, I'll just have a read of the notes. So, they read, went silent for about 60 seconds. And I kid you not, I really wish I'd put some recording software on my phone. I kid you not, I heard an audible sigh in the background on the call, and then they hung up. I just heard it was a gentleman, I heard him go, and then hung up on me. I mean, what is that all about? And of course, I'd love to go and complain about that, but getting through again on the phone to complain about that, how are they going to locate the call? Could probably give them the time and date, and it's just not worth my time and effort. Not worth my time and effort. So, it just beggars belief. It does. And the Royal Mail don't care. They just don't care about it at all. Now, this is really the last sort of interesting thing that happened. So I did get a letter back from the Royal Mail and about the situation, and they've essentially closed the case because they're the judge and jury of their own, exercises, whatever. And basically, they wrote back and said this: I'm really sorry you've recently had cause to complain about an item addressed to 24 Broughton Street, which is the Edinburgh City office. We've logged and investigated this against the reference number at the top of the letter. Having reviewed the evidence submitted, I can see that we've let you down. I mean, they sent a cheque for the cost of the postage, which is fine, I guess I get that back. But I spent about 4.5, 5 hours on that one day trying to sort out this problem, not to mention the lost productivity, the stress, anxiety, worry. And I'm escalating it again. I'm going back to them, I'm challenging that. I'm going to tell them that that's not acceptable and that they need to do better. And hopefully this video will in some part help with that, and we can but hope, eh? That is basically it. Now, what have we learned from this? I guess I want to finish I always want to try and learn from things. That's what life is all about, learning from things. So what I've learned from this is, first of all, the Royal Mail suck, but that's obvious. Secondly, I've learned that we are going to have to be really hot on the case with Royal Mail for all of our special delivery parcels that we send, certainly up to Edinburgh, and probably further on beyond from to our customers. It's just part of the world that we live in, I suppose, and it's not something I relish, the extra work involved. It's something I have to do because I want this business to succeed, and I don't want to be let down by somebody else. That's the most annoying thing, to be let down by things which are completely out of your control. So anyway, look, I've rambled now for close to 20 minutes about the Royal Mail. I really genuinely hope somebody from the Royal Mail has watched this video, and if they have, please reach out to me. Please reach out to me and try and resolve this and sort this out and provide me with some actual tangible reasons and evidence as to what has happened, what has been remedied to stop this happening as well in the future. Really am PO'd by the whole situation. So anyway, I want to say a big thank you to everybody out there who has been watching this far to me moaning and rambling. I know it's been a long one, I know it's been a ramble video. And a big thank you to all my BYB Rambling Society members out there. Please don't worry about me. Like it's a pretty horrible situation, but I'm good. I'm happy. I'm healthy. I'm good. I'm just an angry customer that's been let down constantly by this situation, and it's just not good from the Royal Mail. But I'm good. I'm all right. Thank you all for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, then please do your part to share it around on social media to get Royal Mail in the know. And if you could put your thumbs up on it, that would be very helpful too. If you want to see future videos, then make sure you hit the subscribe button. Otherwise, that's it from me. Thank you all for watching. Have a fantastic week, and we'll see you on the next one. Please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.